What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Appreciate Greatness. Today, we got a mock draft, and let me move myself out the way real quick. I don't know where the best place for me is gonna be. I'll keep myself right here for now. We're on Fanspo. Now, all due respect to Fanspo, it's cool. It's a good site. They're missing a couple players this year, so I do have my own big board pulled up here. It actually only goes to 37 because this one, this one might. I have one somewhere that is completely done, so if I need it, I'll use it. But that one was in May when I was really deep diving. Now I'm pretty much done. So here is the top 38. We shouldn't need to go past that because we're just doing a first round mock draft. I think we're good. I guess we'll go no ceilings. We could go Fanspo. We're not going to do my big board. Appreciate great. I must have made that a long time ago because I don't remember making it. But the first pick in the 2025 NBA draft, it's Coop. It has been Coop. It always will be Coop. He's the guy this year. He does a little bit of everything. Gets to the midi, hits threes, catch and shoot. Great defender, guards 1 through 5. Like whatever you need him to do anywhere on the court, he's going to do it. He's capable of doing it. And the Mavericks, it fits right into their defense wins championships scheme. And he's gonna produce immediately in the NBA. He's gonna be so fun to watch. Number 2 pick. There's already been some turmoil. Well, not turmoil, but some questions, I'll say, at pick 2 of what the Spurs are gonna do. And to me, it seems very obvious. It's Coop, Gap, Dylan Harper, Gap, the rest. And really to me, it's Coop, Gap, Dylan Harper, Gap, Trey Johnson, Gap, the rest. But if I'm the Spurs, and this is my what I would do if I was the GM, this is my choice. If I'm the Spurs, I'm going Dylan Harper. No doubt in my mind. I don't care. We can move Stephon Castle. We can move De'Aaron Fox because I think Dylan Harper is that good. So I don't really care how good of players we have at that spot. That's what I'm going with. At 3, there's been a lot of talk and discussion over what the Sixers are going to do. Who do they go with? I think the one guy that I'm marking off is VJ Edgecombe. I don't think I would take VJ Edgecombe with this roster construction right now. Now, I do like the idea of moving PG over to the 4, sliding someone in at the 3, maybe moving Grimes over and sliding someone in. But I think for next year and even the future, who the best player is going to be, Trey Johnson. You can bring him off your bench next year. He's going to be a pure bucket, get buckets. He's going to be great for them. And then in the future, I think he will be the best player on this board that's left right here. So at 3, he's my pick. And I'm going to have to remember to scroll down here to see some certain guys that I really like. At 4, the Hornets. If I'm the Hornets, I'm staying far away from Ace Bailey. I do love the idea of VJ Edgecombe. If we're trying to trade Mark Williams, then I do think there is potential for a Kaman Malawach pick, but I'm not sure if that's the plan. I do think right here, it's just calm, easy, VJ Edgecombe. You can slide him in right at the 2 with Brandon Miller at the 3 and LaMelo at the 1. I think he gives you a good defensive option who has the ability to catch and shoot threes, which is perfect for what you need, and you can start him immediately. 5, the Jazz. This is a very, very interesting spot because they have a very, very interesting roster. But one thing that a lot of people have said, mocked certain guys being reaches, like maybe a Jeremiah Fears, maybe a Casp. And even though he's a 6 on this board and a 9 for Fears on this board, I don't think that they should reach. I think they should get the best player with the highest upside available. And to me, that's Ace Bailey. Obviously, you already have an Ace Bailey-like player or that kind of same build in Larry Markkinen. But I think you have to take best player available no matter what. And to me, with the highest ceiling again, to me, that's Ace Bailey. Now, on my board, I obviously have Ace 7 and Kaman, Trey, Fears higher. But I think it's a pretty clear, you can't settle. Now, here's a place where things get interesting because if we come back to my board and you look at number 16 here, Derek Queen, maybe even number 12 here, number 13 here. I'm not taking Noah Singay this high if I'm the GM, but you see some guys who are like, I think Derek Queen has to be in the perfect situation. I think Colin Murray-Boyles has to be in a perfect situation to really flourish in the NBA, and I think this is that situation for both of them. Now, I don't expect either of them to be taken here, really. If I was the Wizards, again, this is my draft, this is what I would do if I was the Wizards, I think I'd pretty easily take Con Knipple at 6. He's just a guy who can really fit in and do whatever you need, and he's a great shooter. You can trade Corey Kispert. There have been already rumors of that, and he is better with the ball in his hands than Corey. He just kind of comes in, and he's a much better athlete than people are giving him credit for, in my opinion. I think he is a functional athlete, and people are saying he's not. So I'm going Casp there if I am the Wizards. Again, Derek Queen, Colin Murray-Boyles, great options. I think Derek Queen's best fit is with the Wizards. At 7, this is Kaman Malawach, no hesitation. He has the potential to be a stretch guy. He's got the potential to be able to knock down a 3 or 2 a game, and I think that's really important, and he's a great rim protector next to Zion with those long, like 7'9" wingspan, long arms. I think he's a perfect fit for the Pels. At 8, this is where things get pretty interesting. It seems like it's written in stone that Jeremiah Fears is going here, and I think, especially if they keep Cam Johnson, that is beautiful. Why is LaMarcus Aldridge on this roster? Why is Wilson Chandler on this roster? What the hell? I'm going Fears here at 8. I love the downhill upside. I think he's a pretty good playmaker, all things considered. And then I'm really bought into the jump shot. I'm really bought into his free throw touch is high. The volume he shoots at is high. Normally that's the things you want to look at with young guys is volume and free throw percentage. If you just want like a super dumbed down. But I also I'm a guy who taught myself how to shoot by watching it. So I really like understand the fundamentals of shooting. And watching his jump shot makes me happy. So that is a bonus for me. Now, here at 9, this is a very interesting pick. You have Kasparis on the board, and I think you can't pass that up. He's a very skilled passer, very skilled scorer. He's a guy who, to me, early in the year, I compared to young Luka. Now, he's not quite that good. He has the turnover issues. He's not as twitchy. He's not as quick. First step's not as good. He's not as strong. Like, there's a lot of things that's not Luka-like, but there's some things that are. The step-back threes, the ability to get open for himself, the ability to make some insane passes like Luka, that is what really has me kind of bought in to Casp. Now, I'm not sure. I think he's like 16 on my board. He's 18 on my board. There's a gnat flying in my face. He's 18 on my board. This is a really weird board for me, especially compared to like last year's draft. There's just a whole bunch of like different, levels of player. And I don't know, it's tough for me. But again, this is what I would do if I was the GM of every team. I want y'all to remember that. At 10 for the Rockets, it feels like it makes so much sense to go Carter Bryant here. They obviously could probably use like a point guard or a pure scorer. There's not that available. That's just not there. I don't hate Nolan Traore here, but you do still have Reed Shepherd, who you can develop. And this guy's probably not going to play a lot. He's probably going to be a developed guy. And I do think Carter Bryant fits really, really right into the type of offense they have. I also think Asa Newell or Thomas Sorber could be an interesting pick and slide Şengün. They re-signed Steve-O, though, so that might not be necessarily what they're going for. I think they want to be a grimy team, and so I do think Carter Bryant or even Colin Murray-Boyles would be the pick. I'm going to go Carter Bryant, though, because of the again, you look at those numbers, 6.5 points. I think the upside is there to be a really good 3-and-D wing. The jumper didn't fall too much, but he was a really good jump shooter in high school. And again, the volume was there. So just kind of there's shooting upside, and he's got a lot of upside himself, and he's already a really good defender. And he reminds me of like 6'8" Keon Ellis. So and Keon's one of my favorite players in the NBA. So that's where we go there. Now this is an interesting pick. I'm expecting Scoot to break out this year. I'm going to just put that on the record. You have Clingan as well. He should start. Jeremy Grant, Toumani Camara, Deni Avdija. Like, you have Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe still on the roster. You have a lot of things, right? You have a lot of great things. But I do think there is room to improve somewhere. The question is where? Like, where are we looking to get better? What do we need? Do we go best player available? Do we go with fit? Maybe a 4-man? Maybe... Like, I just don't really know. I'm trying to get in the head of the Trailblazers GM, right? And I don't really know what's there. Unless you trade up or trade down here, it feels like you're kind of stuck in no man's land, almost, especially with the players on the board. But I do think this is a pretty good Derek Queen spot next to Donovan Clingan, who's a pretty functional drop big and can, make up for some of Derek Queen's non-defensiveness. I think Derek Queen there is a good pick. 11 or 12 to the Bulls here. There's a lot of rumors swirling about this one. And to me, it should be a near no-brainer. Now, I do worry about this pick because you don't have any shooting outside of like Vucevic and Zoe. And you bringing back Zoe is big. I am very, very high, however, on Thomas Sorber. I was going to say it's Colin Murray-Boyles, but think about it. I mean, they just have no shooting, and Colin Murray-Boyles would not survive on this team. It's Kobe White and Lonzo, and then it's Giddey, Modest, and I think you could get a center. And Thomas Sorber, to me, is one of the most underrated players in the entire draft. He's bigger than this too. I think he's 7 foot in shoes. I think he weighs 263 now, and he is unbelievable. He's 8 on my draft board. So, to me, he's the best player available. Here is an interesting pick. 13, Atlanta. They're rumored for Miles Turner. I don't know if that's going to actually happen, but it'd be fun. It'd be really fun. They don't have a great four-man, especially if you are running Jalen Johnson at the 3. Now, you're not going to be, in my opinion. Well, maybe you are. No, you're not. You're going Trey, Dyson, Zach, Jalen, Onyeka probably next year. I really like the idea of throwing Colin Murray-Boyles in there, where you can even go small. You have a lot of functional shooting around him. I'm loving the word functional right now. But I also really love the idea of Asa Newell, who has stretch 4 to 5 potential, has potential to play 4 or 5 man, like I just said. And he's a really, really good jumper and athlete and lob catcher. I'm going to go Asa Newell. Keep him in Georgia. I like that a lot. And we're seeing Colin Murray-Boyles fall, but I don't know if we're going to see him fall past this pick. Unless this could be a really fun Noah Asingé spot. I think this is Noah Asingé spot. Asingé is a very raw prospect. He won't turn 19 until the season starts, I believe. It's like December maybe. And he is a very good transition finisher, has a really high free throw rate. I'm not super impressed. This is one of those guys that I don't love it. But I did slide him up my board to 13 because there are a lot of numbers and just certain things that back up that he has a lot of potential. He's really Ousmane Dieng to me. Like, I was really low on Dieng. I do think he would be a lot better if he played more. But his jumper has been a lot better in the NBA than I thought it would. And so I'm thinking Asingé might be the same thing. He's also French. At this point last year, I wanted them to draft Traore, but we're going Noah Asingé here, 14 to the Spurs. He's also, the biggest thing about Asinga is you're going to get defense. He's going to be a good defender. This is insane. Colin Murray-Boyles to the Thunder would break the NBA. I texted one of my friends that the other day. Colin Murray-Boyles is the closest thing we've seen to Draymond. Everyone throws that comparison. I probably throw it out too much, but this is genuinely it. He's a very good passer, especially out of the hub. Passes to cutters really well. Now, he posts up a ton. That's how he scored 17 points per game. It's not really there. The jumper's not there at all. But what is there is the ability to guard pretty much 1 through 5. And now when I say guard 1 through 5, I don't mean he's picking up point guards over and over and over. I'm saying when he gets switched onto it, he holds his own. And he's a guy you could run a whole bunch of different coverages with. He's just a really high-level elite defender. Moves really well for 6'7", 250. I'm taking him with the Thunder pick, and he is 12 on my board. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Here is a team who needs shooting. Here's a team who needs some shooting. You don't really need defense, but you really need a lot of shooting. You could also use like a true one. I don't think you're going to get a true one here unless you want to reach for Ben Saroff or something of that matter. There's some guys I really like Kalkbrenner. I have like in the 20s. I don't like this big board at all. Sion I have way higher. Sears I have higher. They don't even have Amari Williams, who I love. This is probably Rasheer Fleming's spot, right? Kind of that Jonathan Isaac, like from Walmart, but can shoot and dunks everything. I wouldn't be too against Jaeger Dimon. The only reason I've become higher on Jaeger, he's 24 here. On this board, I might have moved him up. No, I didn't. He was 32. The jumper looks beautiful. It looks really good. It looks like it's got a lot of room for potential. I think Rasheer Fleming here could be really, really fun. He's just kind of undersized. My favorite pick here would probably be like Thomas Sorber or a center of that matter. I almost went Cedric Coward, but I don't think that makes a ton of sense. He is a great defender with a long wingspan and shoots the ball well, but I mean, it's one of these two for sure, Cedric or Fleming. I'm going to go Fleming. I'm really high on Cedric. At 17 for the Wolves, this feels like one of those picks where you go best player right now available, and I think that's Nick Clifford or Cedric Howard. Neither of these guys I expected to be here on the board at this point in the draft. I think I'm more inclined to go Nick Clifford. Defensively, just all around, he's a little more ironed out. He's better on the ball, and I think he's just better right now. Coward is kind of just a high-risk, high-reward pick because he only played a couple games at Washington State. His numbers were unbelievable when he played, but it's interesting. The Wizards, you have a lot of options. You also have a lot of room to mess around on your roster because you have a lot of guys who are really interchangeable. Like Bub Carrington is not your... Ramon Sessions is on this roster. What in the hell? Bub Carrington's not necessarily your one man, but he can play the one. Jordan Poole's not necessarily your one. He can play the one. So you can really tell me that they're drafting Nolan Traore here, and I would be with it. You could tell me they're drafting Cedric Coward here, and I would be with it. But you got Con Knipple, so I don't think you need Coward. I think this is a really good time after taking a safe pick with 6 to take a high upside swing in Jaeger Dimon. I don't love him as a point guard, which is interesting, but he doesn't handle pressure well at all. He's not a great shooter, but he does have the best vision in the draft. He's the best passer in the draft by far. It's just that he's not like a true point guard. So he needs developing, and you're going to a team who is in it for the long run because they can't really compete. Because if they do, I think the Rockets just get their draft pick. So the Nets, they took Fears. This would be a great Traore spot, but took Fears already. Still have Claxton if you want to move him. I think this is a place where you want to get a wing. And I'm not against Cedric Coward. I'm also not against Will Riley here, even though I'm pretty low on Riley. He's another one of those guys you develop. I think the pick, though, Joan Behringer could have been a guy who went a little higher for us. I think the pick here, though, and they have a lot of picks in this draft. They're probably going to move off of some of them. I say we go, man. So here's what I'm thinking. You have Will Riley, but you also have Noah Pinda and Drake Powell. Those are the three guys I'm kind of like, that could be cool. They're all around the same age. I think you go Pinda. He has a lot more developing to do on the offensive side of the ball, but there's a lot of tools there that you can kind of use. He's a good passer, better passer than what the assist number would say, and that kind of gives me a little hope, I guess. The Heat. What's a Heaty pick? Cedric Coward. Again, I talked about him a little bit, but only played 6 games at Washington State. He's always been a really good shooter. Was on the ball a lot more. Showed the post game out a little bit. He reminds me of J-Dub a lot. So yeah, I like that pick. Here to the Jazz at 21. We're going with number 19, Nolan Traore. I think adding a true point guard, obviously Isaiah Collier was great, but adding another true point guard to this roster can really help. And Traore is just like the most true point guard that you can think of. He had an awesome 17-year-old season overseas, went up a level and played for San Quentin. And he struggled a little bit early, but the jumper is so fluid. He gets to spots really well, especially in the mid-range. He's a guy who, I don't know how he fell to 21, if I'm being honest. I have him 14, so pretty impressive that he fell, actually, all things considered. The Hawks, with their second pick of the draft, number 22 here. It's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. I think you can never have enough wings in the NBA, in my opinion. So I think a Drake Powell or a Will Riley or maybe even a Liam McNeely here. I'm much lower on Liam McNeely than most, though. And again, this is what I want to do. So if I was the Wizards, I don't know if I truly would have taken Jaeger Dimon. I probably wouldn't have because, again, I'm low on him. But I don't want it to be like too insane. I'm going to go Drake Powell here. Really great catch and shoot 3-point shooter. I think on catch and shoot opportunities, he was 44%. He, in high school, was a really good tap guy where he was just taking guys off the dribble, hitting the mid-range. So he's got that type of potential there. And then plays really good defense. The Pacers. This is interesting. Oh, no. Well, we can look. TJ McConnell's 33. I'm not against drafting his replacement, Jace Richardson, here. Jace falling is interesting. I do love Jace. Don't get me wrong. 19. I do love Jace. I think he's going to be a really good player in the NBA. Not really good, but he's going to be a good player. He's going to make an impact in the NBA. The biggest thing with him is the height. He's not 6'3". He's 6 feet flat. He's my height in the NBA. That's what worries me the most. But he played so many positions at Michigan State. He was playing the 3 at times. So he guards, he plays hard, he does everything right, and he's very efficient. I like Jace Richardson there. 24 to the Thunder. Joan Behringer's here. Maxime Reynaud. Ryan Kalkbrenner. Dude, Kalkbrenner, low-key. You already went Murray Boyles. I think shooter here would be right. It feels the most right. So like Liam McNeely maybe. Maybe a Cam Jones who is almost Shea-like in the fact that junior year scorer. They had Tyler Kolek. He was a pure scorer, and he did it really well. When he was off ball, when he was playing off ball, he shot the ball really well. Beautiful lefty jumper. When he was on ball, he shot it a little worse because he had the ball in his hands a lot. He was tired a lot more. And therefore, numbers dropped from 3. But everything else went up, and he's really good playmaker. I don't hate Liam McNeely either. Alex Caravan is a pure shooter, but he's going back, I believe. Is there anyone down here that we could be like? Like Chaz Lanier. I don't feel like that's a waste of a pick. Or like Kobe Brea. You have so much defensive infrastructure that you just decide you want to take the by far best shooter in this draft. I can talk myself into that, right? As a Thunder fan, I can talk myself into that. I don't think I have him. No, he's not listed here, but is he listed here? Yeah, he's 39 here. That's an insane mock or draft board. But I can talk myself into that. Him being just the best 3-point shooter in the draft. Better shooter than Isaiah Joe. I think he comes in and is your best 3-point shooter immediately. Obviously, I don't know what happens to him in the playoffs. He's probably going to get picked on. But so is everyone on this list who can shoot. So that makes the most sense to me. Another team in need of shooting. And to me, it's Walter Clayton Jr. Jamal Murray is what I want you to think of. He's a very good shooter off NBA actions. They ran a lot of them at Florida, and he did a really good job of, especially coming off handoffs, and he handled being trapped or blitzed or whatever pick and roll coverage you threw at him. He handled it pretty well. He's not a 1. He's kind of somewhere in between like Jamal Murray, but I do like that pick. Nets have 2 straight here. I think it's going to be Danny Wolf because I think you have so much room on the roster that you can play around with Danny Wolf, where him being he's a very high potential pick. Earlier in the year, where is he on my board? 26. Earlier in the year, he was up here for me. I really like the idea of him. I do think the jumper is a little better. The 3-point shot is a little better than people give it credit for, but I like that. I like Danny Wolf there. And then at 27, with the Celtics picking next, I think you go high potential, like Will Riley. Let's go Joan Behringer. Again, I really like Joan Behringer, and this is my draft. This is what I want to do. I really like Joan Behringer. I think he should be flying up people's boards because he measured in at 7 foot with no shoes. I think it was 6'11" or 7 foot with no shoes on. He weighs more than 200 pounds now. He's a really good rim protector, and he runs the floor really well. So one of those picks where, it's a high upside guy at center. At 28 for the C's, trying to think. Obviously, you want a guy who can shoot. They took Baylor Shireman last year, which made a lot of sense for them. I don't hate a Due Thiero, though, here, or Maxime Renaud. They could use maybe a replacement center, because you cannot rely on Al Horford, especially if you're going to trade Porzingis. I think you kind of have to take a chance on a big here, right? Or, you can go Will Riley. But I feel like you have to take a chance. Kalkbrenner, oh my gosh, I forgot he was there. Ryan Kalkbrenner is the best finisher at the rim in this draft. He has a good 3-point jumper. It's pretty good. It's solid. It's going to be solid in the NBA, I would imagine. Great touch around the rim. He was a 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year, and he is that good of a defender. He earned that. I really like Ryan Kalkbrenner, and I really like Ryan Kalkbrenner of the Celtics. Next is the Suns. Will Riley here, to me. You know what? Let's go point guard. Let's go Ben Suraf. High upside guy. He is a very pure point guard. I don't think he's all too great, but he's another good passer. He shoots a lot like Devin Booker from the mid-range. His jumper looks eerily similar, but they don't play the same way, and you can kind of use this next year, especially when you're trading KD, as a year to get young guys playing and try and develop some dudes, and I think Ben Suraf would be a decent guy to try to develop. My voice is cracked so bad. The last pick of the first round and of the draft is that of the Clippers, and I do think it's going to be Will Riley. Riley is a guy who is another pretty good defender, except his steal and block rate are so low. I don't trust his offensive production, but I do think he's 19 and you can take a shot on a guy like that. So trying to develop him is to develop his jumper, and he did put the ball on the ground and looked pretty solid, especially in the second half of the year. He was pretty much their best player. So that's the rationale there. 30 picks in 30 minutes. Here it is. You know, I'm pretty okay with it. Kobe Bryant in the first round is crazy still. I think that's the craziest thing I did. I think it's kind of fun though. I don't want to save it. But here it is. Here it is. We'll snapshot it. There we go. Download. Boom. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope y'all... Hold on. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Come on. Boom. Got it. Bang. I hope y'all went on to enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll have a couple more draft things coming out before the draft, and then after the draft, I'll definitely do my favorite fits of the draft. I'll probably rank everyone's draft, and I'm going to be doing a draft live stream on June 25th it'll probably start around 6 because the draft is at 7. So if y'all want to watch the draft with me, obviously I can't show you it on like the screen, but I can sit and watch it, and you know, I'll be putting graphics up and stuff like that so you guys know what's going on. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. That's all I got. Peace.